It's the new Beetle. Not only does it combine the classic VW Beetle looks, but also the latest in Volkswagen technology. That means a turbo diesel engine. Will I be impressed? Let's find out. The shape is immediately familiar and reminiscent of the classic Beetle. I think more so than the last new Beetle. To me, this one looks more aggressive, less cute, and better proportioned. Even though the engine's in the wrong place, I would say overall it's closer to the original, and that's a good thing to me. I think you've really got to love its shape. Top up or top down. Inside, it shares VW's common interior layout like those in the Passat and the Jetta, which I've previously tested. It's a simple polished look with a bit of German quirkiness thrown in for good measure. Take the infotainment screen, for instance. It's a nice, clean layout, but to operate it, it's a bit quirky at first. Easy to get used to, though, and very rational indeed. Your armrest and console storage is quite skinny, but does have a bit of space inside. If you slide it out of the way, you get these two storage containers. Moving forward, two cup holders. Here's the DSG dual clutch transmission, plus you get a sport mode and the ability to shift it yourself. Note the kind of quirky placement for the engine start button, and you also get a charger and more storage underneath there. Controls for the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning are pretty straightforward. You actually get two glove compartments. This one is where you hook up your phone, and this one above is a little bonus. The gauge cluster is Spartan and straightforward. On the steering wheel, you have controls for the radio and station. Cruise control right behind there. Also paddle shifters, shifting up and down. I prefer to do it over here, actually. And you also have a control for the menu right here, which gives you some useful travel information. Just above the infotainment screen, you get an oil temperature gauge, a chronograph, and a turbo boost gauge too. Nice. Overall, I like the new Beetle's interior. These seats contour to your body, hold you in well. They're also very comfortable. I like the interior details too. This stretchy piece of canvas really holds your items in well by the door. Also, being a guitar player and a fan of the Fender Mustang guitar in particular, I really like the fact that Fender does the sound system. And of course, it sounds great. There is seating for two, but you won't find much legroom if you're pretty tall. As long as you're not planning on storing the tonneau cover in the trunk, you will find that there's actually decent room back here. How much room? Well, you've got 7 cubic feet overall. That's 2 cubic feet more than the last version, and 1 cubic feet more than a Mini Cooper S. Plus, you can fold those seats down too. Powering my test car is a 2-liter turbo diesel which produces 140 horsepower and 256 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of torque, and it's available at just 1,750 RPMs, which means it feels quite quick and peppy. 0 to 60 takes just 6.3 seconds. Fuel economy is rated at 28 miles per gallon in the city and 38 miles per gallon on the highway. If you choose to shift the TDI yourself, you'll get 41 miles per gallon on the highway. Now, just in case you were wondering, you can actually put the Volkswagen Beetle's top up and down while you're moving, and it takes about 9 seconds to go ahead and put it down and about 11 seconds to put it up. So we're testing it out, and worked fine. And it puts up the windows too. Good stuff. Well, in terms of pricing, the new Beetle starts out at about $25,000. My test car here, the TDI, starts at $29,195, and as equipped, it's about $30,295. But in terms of competition, there's really nothing out there that matches what this Beetle turbo diesel does. No other convertible turbo diesel is sold in America, so that really makes it stand out. And also the nostalgia factor. I guess with the nostalgia factor, the closest competition is the Fiat 500C, which I've previously tested, and also probably the Mini Cooper S. And, you know, those are also very nostalgic and reminiscent of the old days and earlier models, and I like that. But I think this new Beetle here really captures everyone's spirits, and it really excites people. You know, every time you run into someone driving this car, they're automatically telling you stories about old Volkswagens, and it's sort of the same thing as when I used to have a Karmann Ghia, which I reviewed. You can look for that on YouTube as well. But these cars, the Beetle, the Karmann Ghia, they really stir up people's emotions and bring them back to a special place, and that's what's special about the new Beetle. Well, night has fallen, and all looks really cool in the Beetle here. Look at that, you even have lighting effects on the speakers, and pleased with the colors here. Even the special gauges there look pretty awesome at night. And there's just something about a convertible. I mean, pop the top down on a beautiful night like this one, and it's just awesome. I've always loved convertibles, and I think this night is one of the reasons why. It's in the 70s and absolutely gorgeous. Nothing like al fresco motoring. Now there's no reason you can't enjoy the Beetle here year-round, because it does have a nice heating system, and it also has heated seats too, so it's a pretty luxurious car, and it's actually very comfortable. And I think that even in the cold, you know, 40s, even 50s, maybe even 30s, if you happen to be British, this car would be great with the top down year-round. Also, safety is crucial, and don't worry, just because it's a convertible, they do have safety on their mind at Volkswagen. And if you do happen to flip it in a bad accident, well, you've got the pop-up rollover protectors, and that's a nice bit of confidence to have in a convertible. This road here is a little bit torn up, but in the corners with this turbo diesel, you've really got all the torque you need. It's pretty instantaneous, and it's got some nice noise too with that turbo whine. Nice sounds, but let's face it, if you really want a sports car from Volkswagen, you're going to go with the GTI or the Golf R. And still, this one does have impressive amounts of speed and handling. In fact, it's 20% stiffer than the last version of the Beetle. So they've really done things to improve the sportiness and improve the overall look too. Make it a bit more manly, so to speak. Now, like I mentioned, the Beetle's interior here really does resemble other late model Volkswagens. And with the Golf and GTI, you know, this Beetle is a little bit redundant. They sell plenty of those throughout the world in its many forms, either sport, diesel, or just normal economy, or anything in between. But really, what this Beetle does and why they keep it around is that great bit of nostalgia that I mentioned earlier. You know, it's certainly not needed in Volkswagen's lineup, but yet it would be like Porsche getting rid of the 911, you know? They can't do it because there's just too many fans, and with the way they've engineered this one, much like the 911, it really does bring it into the modern world, and you get all that great nostalgia. It's an incredible look, really. Plus, you also get the fun of the convertible and just the smile factor, you know? Of course, with the color combination of this one, I think this one looks a bit like a chick car, but really, it's a lot less of a chick car than the last one. The last one had a flower pot right on the center console, for God's sakes. I mean, who are they going after? Of course. I mean, most men wouldn't be caught dead driving the last one, unless, of course, it's their girlfriends. But that one had a bit of a large blind spot thanks to the side view mirrors, and I think they've engineered out all the problems with this one, and I think they've engineered and designed a much better looking car and a much better functioning car. And with the turbo diesel here, they've engineered a very economical, great stylish, fun convertible, but also it's very quick too. I'm definitely impressed. I'm driving Ivan Katz.